Welcome to the dangers of Galarian, my fellow adventurer. My name is Model 42 and today, in this new monster guide, we are taking a look at one of the most classic and iconic monsters in all of Pathfinder and D&D, the feared Gelatinous Cube. Let's go. Slimes, molds, and other oozes can be found in dank dungeons and shadowed forests. While not necessarily evil, some grow to enormous sizes and have insatiable appetites. Many oozes have acidic attacks that can quickly degrade flesh, wood, and even stronger materials. Some believe that oozes are the result of alchemical or magical experimentation run amok, while others postulate that they simply emerged from the natural processes of evolution. Found underground or in dungeons, these quivering cubes of slime, known only as gelatinous cubes, continuously scour their domain for food. The acid in their bodies is weak enough that many gelatinous cubes still contain the gear of their victims, as they are unable to break them down. These moving squares are of large size, neutral in their alignment and have the trays mindless and ooze, weakening their mental abilities, though also giving it decent immunities against mental attacks and precision damage. They have bad perception, have no vision, though have the motion sense of 60 feet, which allows them to feel vibrations and air movement. Their armor class is really bad, but for a level 3 monster they have a lot of hit points, with a whopping 90 of them, and move up to 3 spaces with each stride, which is slow. They also have one good saving throw, which is fortitude. The rest is not worth mentioning, or needed. In addition to the aforementioned immunities, they are also immune against acid, critical hits, unconscious, and visual effects, like gazes or lights. Also they take 5 damage less from electricity, which is nice and makes popular cantrips like electric arc pretty much useless. It has the ability, transparent, since a gelatinous cube which is standing still is very difficult to spot. A seek action is needed, not a normal perception check, which is tough, and then you can make a perception check against a DC of 23, which will be a 30% chance for average characters to notice, maybe 40% for a trained character with decent wisdom, which is pretty rough, because if you do not see it, and just walk into it, you are automatically engulfed, and we take a look at that in a moment. Suffice to say, you don't want that at level 3. It only has one attack by the name of Cube Face, with a +11 modifier, which is not too shabby, only dealing weak acid damage, but also forcing the target to make a DC 20 fortitude save against paralysis, which will be a 50-50 shot for tough characters, and way harder for most, let us call them ranged support characters. The save can also be attempted at the end of the afflicted creature's turns. The next ability is called Weak Acid, and just states that the acid damage is only non-organic material, so metal, stone and other inorganic ones only get dirty. That is the reason why some of the gear of victims is still floating in the cube. Save the best for last, which is the ability by the name Engulf, which takes 2 actions to be used. If this is activated, the cube moves up to 6 paces and can move through any spaces of any creatures in its path, and all medium-sized or smaller creatures that are able to act have to make a reflex save against a DC of 19, or are engulfed. They automatically fail if they are unable to act. On a success, they decide if they are pushed aside or in front, depending on the space available. An engulfed creature is pulled into the body of the cube and counts as grabbed, slowed 1, and has to hold its breath to not start suffocating, and it can cut itself free just like if swallowed, with very restrictive actions. If the monster dies, they are automatically freed when engulfed, and at the end of their turns while being engulfed, they take 2d6 acid damage, and they have to also save against paralysis each and every turn, making this attack very deadly. So, this is not the most complex of creatures, but how do you use it, aside from putting it in a dungeon at random, because they always are there, ? Well, the creatures themselves are not very good as a basis for upgrading, though some elite adjustments are obviously a cool thing, but I can't see class levels a good option, though it might be possible. To make this creature count is hugely depending on where you put it. While it is a great addition for the lab of a crazed scientist, if you put it into old ruins, make sure that you describe some of the things in there as matching to the cultures of the ruin the heroes have delved in, or in stark contrast, giving the impression that some other heroes have tried their luck, and didn't have any. For example, if the players are of higher level and delve deep into the old ruins of an Assyrian princess, searching for an old amulet that was stolen from the lord of the land by a crazy vizier, they of course have the old riddles and traps to deal with, as well as some mummies and giant weird spiders, while at the end, they know something will be waiting. The murals on the walls should tell stories of an old and powerful queen, ruling all of the known world with cruel and sadistic pleasure, experimenting with necromancy and science from faraway lands. A prophecy should have been foretold earlier by an old wise man they met on the bazaar, finding his words ring true once they see the murals, depicting the exact same prophecy. In the last chamber, they find the old queen, mummified, but still pretty, with a voice like an angel, trying to make a deal and coerce the heroes into her services, but of course they won't listen, and have to fight a really strong mummy pharaoh, or just a normal mummy you enhanced with some class levels. During the fight, chambers will open every round, letting more and more cubes in, each wave getting stronger and stronger, with the last wave being of equal level to the players, red and burning like the sands, dealing fire instead of acid damage and heeding the orders of the foul queen of the damned. Let each of the cubes have a special treasure in it, which is one of the funerary items of the queen, worth a lot of gold to the right buyer. But what the players do not know is that when those items are not destroyed, she will come back and hunt for them, so selling them will only trigger a murder spree. But at each location, there might be a special kind of gelatinous cube waiting for the players, each with a different element in their attack. Just a hint that she is back. That would be a great quest line, would it not? The moral of this story is, if you put a gelatinous cube in a ruin or other location, have a reason why it was put there, and by whom if you can. You will find the gelatinous cube on page 254 of the first bestiary. And now, at the end of this video, I thank you so much for watching and hope you want to see more content like this in the future. Until then, please leave a like, subscribe for more content, and write me a comment what you think about this creature. When you visit ancient ruins of ages long since lost, please take care before you go round that corner or pull that lever.